Here we go on our big adventure.
Alright, what time is it?
6:07.
Not bad. Only 7 minutes later.
It's cutting into our Starbucks time.
It is. Age before beauty. Alright, let's go.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Take care.
Are you
We're good.
enjoy your day?
Thanks. Okay, for those of you that aren't aware, Mount Washington Observatory actually has a museum in North Conway. This is the museum here. It's really great to go check out information and facts about Mount Washington Observatory if you don't want to take the journey up to the summit.
It's the Storyland.
Here we are on Route 16, just arriving at the base of the Mount Washington Auto Road. On the right is the Glen Trails Lodge. We're going to take a left here, coming from the south, and as we pull in, there's a car park on the left. During the summer months, when you're volunteering, you park in the parking lot on the left side. If you're volunteering during the winter, there's actually a garage to the right. This is the Glen Trails snow coach that you see here. This is operated by Glen Trails in the winter, and it goes actually up to the halfway mark and takes tours. In the summer, Glen Trails also operate tours using the Mount Washington Auto coaches, which are kind of adapted minivans or at least trucks like this. Again, though, this has nothing to do with Mount Washington Observatory. It's a separate organization. Okay, so we're just sat here at the base, and oh, the rain's lit up a little bit. It's nice, nice wet morning. What time do we have?
7:06.
7:06. So Ken had this idea. What's it called?
This is a pulse oximeter.
I'll let you give the spiel.
So this measures blood oxygen saturation, and it will take your pulse at the same time. Now at sea level, in a healthy person, your oxygen saturation in your hemoglobin should be close to 100%, 98%, 99%. So here at the base of the auto road, right now, my oxygen saturation is 98% and my pulse is 78, 79 right there. As you go to altitude, there's less air because it's thinner, and what you'll see is oxygen saturations will be lower. So we'll measure here at the base, and we'll measure it at the top of the mountain. At 6,000 feet, I expect that it's not going to go down that much. Say at 10,000 feet, it might be in the low 80s, high 70s, until you become acclimatized, where your body makes more red blood cells and your breathing patterns change. So mine's 98, and right now my pulse is 75. So let's see what Andrew's is. We'll give this a minute to reset. There we go. Okay, finger out, finger in, and that'll take a minute. Okay, so you got 97% and a pulse of 61. So show that to the camera.
97. 61.
Which is great. That shows that you have plenty of oxygen saturation.
97% and 64. So, excellent. So when we get up there, when we're set,
maybe 90, 92.
We'll give it a shot. Oh, it's just gone up to 98, but yeah. 97. Mine's fluctuating between 97 and 98. Awesome.
Excellent.
So yeah, we're going to hang out here for a little while. Obviously we got here early. Better to be early than late. First impressions count and all that. There's actually a number of other cars. Where we have to park the car is actually at the start of the auto road. And there's a car park for the summer where you leave your vehicles. There's probably, what, six, 7 vehicles parked here. So our assumption is that these are the vehicles that belong to the volunteers and the employees that are already up there that are coming down today for the shift change. Head over the top of the cars there. That's the auto road that travels up there. That's the nice easy start to it.
We'll bike right off.
Hi. Hi. Are you Chloe? Yeah. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Hey Chloe, Andrew.
Hi.
Hi, Chloe.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sarah. Nice to meet you. Yeah. I was a big bird. Some sort of party going on. Yeah. Make sure it's the right party. Try to see if I can spot.
So it's at this point where the heavens opened and it absolutely threw it down. The rain was really heavy, the parking lot started to flood, and we basically had to hustle to load all of the gear into the Mount Washington Observatory minivan or minibus and truck that pulled up shortly after. Basically we loaded all of our gear into the back of the truck, and there was supplies, so food, etc., that was being brought up that was loaded in, and then we all jumped into the minibus to head up. The truck headed up first and we followed behind. All of the people that were joining us on this shift were with us, so that included the observers, etc. So, Sharon, so you travel up with us?
I do.
And then you'll travel back down with the ship that comes down? Okay.
Yes, I will be back up on Friday as well as Saturday. I'd taken horses to the halfway point and then walked the rest of the way up to the top of the mountain in 1990.
Cool.
So it just feels a little faster when you're facing the town. What are your expectations for the week? Any?
No expectations.
No?
We tried to guess, but you know, we tried to guess at what would be going on, but
I know what you have expectations. You want to see an aurora.
Well, good luck with that if the weather's like that.
I was going to say, with the weather like this, that's not happening.
And
So.
I will tell you, they are not. Ryan can attest to this. They are not as spectacular to the naked eye as they are to the
They're not.
Sorry to dash your hope.
Are we above the, almost above the clouds?
Well, see, the easiest thing is that the road is not close to any traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the weather conditions. The only other people on the road are going to be the snow, not the snow coaches, the stagecoaches.
So Sharon, the shift that's up there, what time do they end up leaving? Because they do pretty much a whole day, is it? Or half a day?
Not completely full. I mean, it's a full day for them because they're up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
6 at the latest. So by the time we go down, probably right after lunch.
Yeah.
Or maybe before, depending on how quickly we get through the
handover.
shift change agenda items.
Okay.
We don't. I don't make them dilly dally.
Yeah.
There used to be a process or just a mindset that they needed to do like a full day to 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock up there, and it's like no.
Yeah.
They've been working for the last 7 days straight.
Yeah.
So let's get them off of here as soon as we can. In 7 days, they're going to turn around and be right back up.
Yeah.
She's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift and hope that you'll take it into her side. La 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 la.
So it was at this point we reached the summit, and the weather on the summit was certainly no better, if not worse, than it was down in the valley. It was raining very heavily, and obviously the winds were a lot higher. So the 2 Mount Washington vehicles, the truck and the minibus, backed up to the main entrance of the Sherman Adams building, and we basically created a fire line to pass in everything that we'd loaded into the truck. So those were the supplies, all of our bags and everything we brought up the mountain with us. And so that's basically what you can see going on here. Sharon invited us up to the shift change briefing. This is where the previous week's shift and the new week's shift meet to discuss current weather conditions, future forecasts, and any other activities or items or issues that they need to be made aware of. It was interesting to meet everyone and listen in on this presentation.
We can see mid-level water moisture, this broad low pressure system, filling all this moisture this morning. And then that sharp kind of cold front, actually, for once we're getting a cold front, not just a cool front, later in today with that yellow and dry air. So moving into 250 millibar wind forecast. Today you can see this upper level trough moving in that you saw in the water vapor image too. Really digs deep into tonight. That cold front will pass through. The jet really strengthens to the east of us, so it shouldn't really affect us too much besides the low kind of continuing to go under cyclogenesis and definitely increase the winds throughout today. And then the rest of the kind of forecast period for this work week looks to be relatively mundane, with the zonal flow showing up at this big upper level ridge, settles in the Midwest, and is going to kind of funnel a lot of warm air to our area, but potentially some instability in moisture as well. So you can see kind of a low pressure will form in the Midwest, and it's kind of just a messy zonal pattern as this ridge really moves into the Ohio River Valley into early next work week. Looking at vorticity, you can see the low digging in today. This front will pass through, looks like this afternoon, I think, into the evening. Winds will shift to the northwest and then really strengthen, I think, moving into tonight.
Strengthen to what, approximately?
I can give a number when I look at 850 millibar winds,
Okay.
but yesterday I forecast and I said 45 to 60 with gusts to 75. Just because right now, like, there's like the low stronger, but we have southeast winds, which doesn't give us the highest wind. So we'll have northwest, which is all going to kind of funnel and increase a little bit over us. So into Thursday, it clears. Friday should be very nice based off this. And Saturday looks like a weak frontal system is going through New York, and then weekend weather approaches us into Saturday night. And then there are all these kind of messy waves of vorticity at 500 millibars through early next week. I was looking at, because we have this ridge building in, so there's definitely a chance for thunderstorms into early next week. I'll kind of show Kate later to show that chance. Yeah, temperature anomalies. It's going to get pretty cold tonight into the upper 30s. It looks like Emily will show you on MOS numbers. Not to freezing, not really. There's no chance of that, I would say. But wind chills will be below freezing, so that's fun. So we have this colder temperature anomaly with this low pressure system and cold front moving through, and then that ridge will build in, which is going to give us much warmer temperatures for the much foreseen future, which is unfortunate.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks. Other than that happens.
So the
Okay.
people in the valley will like it.
Yeah, wish casting right there in September. So here's 850 winds. You can see they're not, right now I think they're 30 to 40, so nothing too crazy. But then they're going to switch to westerly and then eventually northwesterly as that front passes through. And even though the winds are the same here because of the funneling and channeling we get up here, they're going to increase tonight. And then really the rest of the forecast period as that ridge moves in, it's pretty weak winds throughout the forecast period. Unless you get a thunderstorm. So yeah, here I'll show the chance for thunderstorms.
Right, so we can't have
Yeah,
high winds and crazy
Yeah,
temperatures.
thunderstorms. So this is the Cape, which is the instability in the atmosphere. This is the mean layer, right? Mixed level, sorry. So this is more realistic based on service-based or most unstable. But still plenty. There's over 1,000 into Monday. It looks like you can see some somewhat nice shear. I'll just put a sounding. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. It's pretty dry, adiabatic. Yeah, there's no shear, which sucks. No directional shear. We have wind speed shear, so that is more favorable than not. Yeah, and then Tuesday it looks like it's still a chance, and kind of into Wednesday too, and looks like something's going to come through on that's past our period. So precipitation, this low pressure clearing out, and then you can kind of see that low form in the Midwest, which is going to kind of send all this moisture combined with that high to the south and give us those chances for thunderstorms throughout early next week.
Some pockets of heavier rain.
Yeah, I mean, the GFS is 12 kilometers, so I wouldn't really trust this at all for where it's going to put precipitation, but it just shows there is a chance for precipitation based off all the soundings and Cape. There's a solid chance for thunderstorms Monday and Tuesday.
There's Emily with the balls.
There's Emily with
Oh, there's Emily. It's me again. Cool, just taking a look at the later mock with the DFS model. So if we take a look at temperature, it's going to be, again, a little cold, like Zach said, tonight, maybe 37, possibly less. And then we are going to end up in quite a high temperature, possibly moving into the 60s, which is going to be terrible because I will not be here and I will be down in the valley. And possibly 63, maybe 65 later on, but who knows. And then if we take a look at wind speed, we will get higher speeds tonight. This is predicting around 43 knots. We just take a look upwards maybe. Wind speed, peak right now is 48. It's going to be happening at 8 p.m. tonight.
The name has continuously had much higher winds
Has it?
for this storm, which I don't. Usually GFS is more.
GFS has a peak of 42, so maybe we can expect somewhere in that range between 42 to 48 knots, at least, not miles per hour. Well, and then for precipitation, it's raining right now. Yep, fantastic. We do have a chance for rain throughout the entire week, but it looks like it's really going to be higher chances, not a whole lot, but on Monday and Tuesday, as well as Wednesday for next shift change. Like Zach was saying, we're going to get those bands of precipitation coming from the west. And then in terms of thunderstorms, there's a slight chance today. And then, like Zach said, when we look at the Cape, there's going to be more chances of thunderstorms as well Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with those bands of precipitation that we saw. Would anybody like to look at anything else?
Can you give me maybe a better in-depth of what Friday and Saturday? So Friday during the morning, because Carol Shea Porter and group will be coming up, and I want to know. And then also Saturday afternoon around 4 o'clock, because the King of Thailand contingent is coming up.
Oh yeah, right.
So yeah, they have a big ceremony that they're going to do, and they will be leaving the mountain until approximately 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we can get kind of a little more
If you scroll up the GFS,
fidelity.
Pardon me?
Scroll up, Friday is already in.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So high in the 50s.
There it is.
Yeah, so
Wind speeds 10 to 25.
So light winds, warm temperatures.
decent wind,
Clear.
warm temperature. It doesn't look like we're
Very
going to be
stable
in
and
the clear. Nice and dry, which is going to be nice, and doesn't look like any chance of precipitation or thunderstorms.
Okay, good.
At least for Friday. In regards to Saturday, it's not up on the GFS yet. I mean, if you want to take if you want to take another look at the extended temperature is going to be. It looks like it's going to be dry again, just based on this model. Wind at around 17 knots. So if we kind of extrapolate, maybe like 15 to 20 knots. There is a chance for precipitation. Right now, we're doing it at like 10%, but take that with a grain of salt. It is the GFS, and then a very low possibility of thunderstorms. Always good to mention, just because as we go on later, it's going to get harder to predict this.
All right. Well, I'll ask again when we, when we get closer.
Okay.
Pull it up.
Would anybody else like to look at anything else? All right. Okay.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
This is where your towels, and change the, the bath towels, those hand towels, and they change, as needed. Same with your dish towels. You can get your sheets and pillowcases for your room.
Yeah.
I do believe you have the whole place to the room to yourself. I don't know. I was lucky and had a room to myself this week.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 dorms, right?
There's 5. There's the
5.
night.
And the night one.
Now, no one's sleeping in there right now, are they?
Yes.
They are.
Oh, okay. So they hate us already. Okay.
No, you know what? It's a lot quieter than it used to be.
Okay.
No, they don't hear anything. The thing I don't like, these chairs are so loud. They are
Right.
so loud. No matter how you try, you cannot be quiet.
Yeah. Exactly. I know she wouldn't take me seriously. Ken and I have now settled in. I wanted to take some video earlier, but it's been a little bit crazy. The shift from last week has just left. We had lunch, so today on the first day, basically we prepare lunch with the volunteers that were here last week, and it was sociable. We had sandwiches and some other things that were here for us to eat, and we're just tidying up. So we'll give a little tour. This is the kitchen. Actually, you can give a tour if you like, Ken.
So this is the kitchen and prep area right here. You have a dishwasher, and the cabinets all have labels on them, so you can find everything pretty easy. And of course, you can always just open drawers and open cabinets and look at them without worrying yourself. I've already looked in the same cabinet 3 times, forgetting what was in there. One of the really important things is to always run this fume hood when you have the oven going when you're cooking, because if you get smoky in here, the smoke alarms are going to go off, and then the whole building has to be evacuated, and people will not be happy if it's not a real emergency when that happens. So as Andrew said, we just had lunch and we're cleaning up. This is some leftover pasta. We're just going to put that in the fridge and put a label on it as far as when it was made. And some of the staff will come in and, if they need a snack or something like that, if they're on a night shift, or if they just need to eat something later and they miss a lunch, they can come and grab it from the refrigerator here, and it'll be microwaved. We're told that it's really important. Anything that's perishable as it goes in the fridge has to have a label on it, so they know when it went in there, and in case it gets slid to the back.
So like
they'll have an idea.
So like some of the stuff that's in the fridge here, you'll see that there's labels on it. We'll say what it is and the date that it was put in there. So at least people later in the week, or if we've just come up, we'll be able to tell what's in it. And more importantly, when it was put in. So we another thing just to say, when we got up here, there were 2 volunteers up here. One of the volunteers, Marsha, she was awesome. She's a very long-term volunteer, so she spent time really helping us out, showing us around, and telling us the good and the bad and the ugly. She actually had us, she wanted to make some muffins, some cupcakes for them for lunch, so we actually made those with her. And she showed us how to use the oven, which was good. And there's some other things we'll cover during the week as we learn as well. But so far so good. One of the first things we had to do was when we brought everything in, obviously all the food and everything came down here. We had to put all the food away. So there's actually two fridges. So there's one fridge here, and then there's in the pantry here there's another fridge. We basically had to put the food that's in the right fridges. That was obviously pretty easy to figure out. And then there were certain things that had to be put away here in the pantry, like flour and other supplies. We'll cover the pantry another time, I think. And obviously the freezer. All the meat that came up was fresh meat, so everything was fresh. We have, at the moment, all the meat is in the fridge. We have to choose today what we're going to keep. We're going to choose what we keep fresh and then what we're going to freeze. So we have to figure out what we're going to do for dinner tomorrow night, etc. So yeah, so far so good. We're just tidying up from lunch, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so we're in the living area here. Just pretty cozy. A few couches. We've got a TV over here. I guess in the evenings, everyone sits around. Most people sit around if they want and watch movies, which sounds like fun. So we'll see how it goes. So one thing Ken just reminded me of is, as you saw when we were down in the base down at the bottom, we took our blood oxygen level.
Yeah, and here at the top at 6,288 feet above sea level, it's dropped a little bit, and my pulse is going up a little bit also. So right now I'm at 95. When we rolled in here, I was at about 93% or 92% oxygen saturation, and it's been climbing since then. So that was several hours ago. It's 2 o'clock now. Came in about 9:30. So my body's already making some adjustments. My pulse is pretty low. It's still 78. That's higher than normal for me. So we're going to take this off and check the injuries. See what mine's like. Do you remember what your numbers were earlier?
It was a pretty low pulse. It was in the mid-60s, I think.
So you expect it to be a little higher now.
Yeah,
to
higher, and my oxygen level was at
Whoa, you're good.
90.
You're 96.
96. So it's still a little bit lower. Well, no, 93. So yeah, I'm at 93, and yeah, my pulse is slightly higher. My pulse is at 71, 72. Earlier it was in the, and actually even then earlier when we took it, we'd still been walking around quite a bit. So yeah, my pulse is slightly higher than it has been. It's 74, 73, whereas earlier I think it was in the mid to high 60s. So yeah, it's obviously recovered. We wanted to try and do this earlier, because obviously when we first got up here, it was, I think Ken, you said yours was in the 93,
Yeah, I was about 93.
I didn't get a chance to do mine, but yeah, so we thought that was kind of cool. So it's it's early afternoon. It's about, what time is it?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, we just came from a tour of the observatory. You get to look around at the area, the place where they do the weather measurements. It's staffed 24 hours a day. And they have their own server up there. It's a pretty impressive place technologically.
So yeah, so really, in terms of the schedule of the first day, it was kind of chaotic, organized chaotic. Obviously the weather didn't help. Everyone wanted to get in quickly because it was absolutely throwing down rain. So we really brought everything in. We brought everything down here. As I said, we met Marsha, who was great. She showed us around. Then she was already preparing for lunch, so we helped her prepare for lunch. The observers and everyone kind of came together a little bit for lunch, and then then they took off. So we had a look around a little bit, figured out what we were going to do this afternoon. As I said, Tom did the safety tour, so we from a safety perspective what to do in an emergency. We discussed the expectations about what time dinners would be prepared for every evening. So there's an agreed time of 7 o'clock unless they need to delay it because it might be busy in the museum. So yeah, really kind of getting a grasp of things. Everything's good. We might go take a walk outside. But,
yeah, it was a pretty smooth transition, and I think that we're gonna have a good week. Yeah, we're ready to roll.
We've got some guests on Friday.
Carol Shea Porter.
Carol Shea Porter, she's the
parents. She's a cemetery bird.
Congress.
One of those.
And then that was it really. So yeah, so far so good. All right, hey Ken, show us the way.
Yeah, so the wind's blowing about 40, 42 right now, and we're going up the turret to go up to the summit. Follow me.
Actually, before you go out, so just I guess just from a volunteer's perspective, when you go outside, you have to notify them that we have a radio on us. So we're about to head out now just to see how wet it is. It's not going to be a great view, but we'll get some fresh air. So, after you, Ken. Oh yeah. So this door is it's basically the way in for us, or at least for employees only. So it's not a public access way, but that's the way that observatory volunteers come and go. One question I actually asked earlier, and I don't know if this sound's going to come out, but one question I asked earlier was one question I asked earlier was, what is this big metal frame behind us? For some reason I thought it was a Faraday cage in case of lightning strikes, but I've actually been told that it's to protect them when they come out because of large lumps of ice falling off the tower. So obviously in the winter the tower that's just here can have always has large amounts of rime ice and things built up on it, and so it's really just to protect the weather observers, etc., and the employees when they come out from ice falling on them. So here we are out on the deck. So as you can see here, today it's windy. What was the weather that Taylor was just telling you, Ken?
The temperature right now is in the low 50s and the winds are blowing over 40 miles per hour. So it's a pretty easy day up here as far as the weather on the top of Mount Washington, and the worst weather in the world. It can get better than this, but it can get way worse.
So it's not actually raining, so
it's raining sideways.
Right now it's not really raining, not like when we arrived here earlier where it was absolutely throwing it down. It's probably a good way of describing it. It's blowing fog. It's like one of those spray bottles in your face. It's misty and it's blowing.
So this would be perfect if it was a 90-degree day. You stepped into this cooling water real quick. It would be perfect.
Actually, you know what it's like? It's like when you go to Storyland or one of the amusement parks and they have fog tips. It's one of those, but with like a 45, 50 mile an hour wind. So one of the other questions someone had the other day was, what is this white X? This white X here, and maybe we'll show it when we go up later in the tower, another time in the tower. In the tower, I could probably show it in reverse. So in the tower, just up here, is a webcam. When you stand on the X right here, you're basically on the webcam.
To this. Get to that curve fast.
Yeah. So again, the idea of this vlog is to really give people an insight into what it's like to volunteer up here. There's 101 million videos on YouTube about the summit of Mount Washington, and so we probably, especially today, I mean during the week we'll give more information and better views and things, but right now obviously today, at least on day one, we're not going to be able to do it justice. We'll walk around a bit, but yeah, really from a volunteer perspective, we don't have anything to do this afternoon now. We have to in a little while prepare for dinner, which is at 7. But really, this is the case where it's our time. You know, we're done with lunch, we're done with prepping for dinner. So this is our time. We mentioned to Tom and the other observers that they had any jobs they needed us to do. As we said when we're coming out, when you come out, you have to come out with a radio. So we do have a radio in case there's an issue. They'll notify us in case there's a lightning strike nearby and we need to get inside. So we do have a radio on us. But other than that, we're just coming out for some fresh air.
So take a walk over to the summit?
Yeah, let's take a wander over here. Yeah. Ken was just suggesting we insinuate that we hiked up here, and we've been hiking all day. But somehow I don't think anyone would believe us. A, given the way we're dressed, and B, I don't think we look like the most athlete of hikers. Usually on a warm day, especially in the summer, there's usually a queue or a line of people waiting to get a photo taken at the summit side here. Right now there's no lines, no waiting. Okay, so we've just come in a little bit of shelter here. We're actually just sheltering behind the tip-top house here. That's where we just were up there at the summit, where the summit sign is, and you can't really see it over there in the distance. That's the photo shot with the building with the chains over it. The yellow thing just down there, the piece of apparatus, I believe, and I'm going to double check it, but I believe that's the rainwater collector. That's what they use for measuring rainfall precipitation. So, alright, we're going to head back in a moment, I think, because it's pretty miserable out here. Okay, this is Marty. Marty the cat. Marty's a celebrity. Around these parts, anyway. So just a note on Marty. Obviously, if you have an allergy to cats, that's probably an issue coming up here to volunteer. Also, they ask that you keep the dorm room doors open, closed rather, so that Marty can't go in there. And taking care of Marty in terms of feeding and things like that is not our responsibility. I think the weather observers like taking care of their pet, so that's not something we have to do. Not that we wouldn't mind doing it anyway. And Marty's taken to Ken. Hey Ken.
Hey guys, so this is the closet where they have like storage for linens and paper towels and some cleaning supplies. You're responsible for cleaning, for doing your own beds. So I just pulled the sheet out. It was wrapped. I've already unwrapped it. And there's pillowcases in here. There's things to do dishes with. These few towels here. Pot holders right here. They've been cleaned up and brought up with the last ship. So
where does the dirty linen go?
So we're going to be putting in the bag down at the bottom. That's on the floor right there.
Okay.
So we'll just be piling stuff up in there in the week, and we'll take that back with us down on Wednesday when we leave the mountain. So you want to be turning lights off because this is a non-profit and you're obviously trying to save money. So if you don't need the light, go ahead and turn it off. So this is our sleeping quarters right here. They have three beds, 3 bunks, 1 on 4, 1 big one and 1 high. There's only 2 people in here, so we can use this area as storage where you normally would just have stairs going up and just top bed here. And if this is a full room, then you have storage under here and storage under here too. So you can get pretty much everybody's gear in here as long as you don't go crazy and too much in. You can hang your stuff here, towels. And Andrew and I have designated this area as the area for wet clothes in case it keeps raining. So I'm making the beds. They supply you with sheets and pillowcases and a pillow, and you bring your own sleeping bag, and they also do have blankets too. So these were in the rooms here. So we're gonna make these beds up, and they'll be ready for us when we're really tired after a long, hard day slaving in the kitchen and cleaning up after dinner. All right, so now we're almost ready to get final preparations for dinner. We got the corn all ready to go, and the water's warm. We're going to be boiling that up, and then the corn will only take about 10 minutes after that. The brisket's in the oven warming up. We have a salad made. The table's all set.
So one of the things that Marshall warned us about was that water takes longer to boil. So we actually tried earlier boiling some water just to see. So we tried this one, right?
Yes.
I think we tried this one, we filled it up for about here, and it took about half an hour to boil. So it actually wasn't as bad as we thought it would be. Well, it's about 9:30, 9:45. I think everyone had a good dinner. We just finished tidying everything up, clearing up the kitchen a bit. Yeah. Getting ready to go to bed. Everyone else has pretty much turned in for the night. Had a little bit of time relaxing with everyone, watching TV, which was kind of fun. So, yeah, I think it was a good day. I feel like Wednesdays are probably the busiest days. Obviously, it was a lot of getting to know the place, getting to know what we had to do. But it was good. Got to know people.
There was certainly a lot of chaos yesterday.
Wasn't
uncontrolled.
It was just a lot of people. As we've already said, there's only 8 of us, we don't have any guests, and so we're kind of wondering a little bit what it would be like.
Well, we will have some on Friday.
Yeah, Friday we've got some guests, but what I mean is there's only 8 of us staying overnight, so in the winter months there tend to be the bigger groups, like the climbing groups and things like that, so I kind of wonder what it would be like.
Well, they could have up to, what, 17%?
Yeah, so I wonder what it would be like with a bigger group, but no, it was good. I'm pleased they liked the first night's dinner. Yeah.
And leftover brisket for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah. Thoughts on the first day?
I was really glad it was foggy coming up to Auto Road. Because there are some pretty big drops, and if you don't like heights, it's uncomfortable. But as long as they're driving, it's okay.
Yeah. No, good day. First day done. See what tomorrow brings.
Okay?
Peace out.